Hello and welcome to Broadsword Wargaming. In this video, I'm going to show you fast, cheap and easy ways to base your Warhammer miniatures. Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please do think about clicking that subscribe button for more videos to come, or check out the Patreon and other ways below in the description to support the channel. Now, the video is about basing your miniatures, or basing kind of anything terrain as well, I suppose it would apply to. This is something I've been thinking about for quite a while now, and I probably myself have been modeling for about 28 years. I started as a little kid, and I've seen basing evolve over the years. We used to do green rimmed bases with goblin green and some of that disgusting flock. And that was kind of the classic 90s way to base your models. But in the past 20 years, it's evolved and come on a long way. I feel like we spend all the time painting our models or doing boards or building terrain that quite often basing gets overlooked. I think you can have beautifully painted models, but if the bases don't match, it doesn't look like a uniformed army, and no better way, in my opinion, to unify your army than sort your bases out. So I've looked at all the different materials I can find. Some of these are free and you will find them in your house. Some of them you pay for. Games Workshop have started supporting a lot more these past few years by bringing out these texture paints, and I'm going to go through those and my opinion of those as well. And I'm going to look at some different products you can buy from other companies. You can buy mold cast like resin bases. So I'm going to look at all these and come back at the end and give you my opinion on what I think some of the best, cheapest and easiest ways to base your models are. So without further ado, let's get to it.
These are just some of the basing materials I'm going to take you through and show you today. I'm not looking at diorama standard bases, so I'm not using things like water effects and resin and crackle paste, stuff like that. This is just the easier, cheaper things you can find and you can get your hands on to make your models and bases look that bit better.
The first one I'm going to talk about is the Games Workshop technical and texture pastes.
I am using the Armageddon Dust and the Stirland Mud. Coming in at around £4.75 a pot though, quite expensive, but do a really good job. Looking at this one, it's grainy, it's gritty, it has sand or something like that inside of it, and this is what gives you the texture you're after. It's not a smooth coat, you're not looking for smooth paint jobs here, you're looking for something messy, quick and easy to use. I'm applying this with a wooden spatula from a coffee shop, which you just get for free, rather than a paintbrush because it will ruin your paintbrushes. Stick it down directly into it and that's going to give you more texture. You can make this as smooth or as rough as you like. They do other colours, and Armageddon Dunes would probably do a better job of this. It doesn't require a lot of paintbrush work afterwards, you don't need to dry brush these particularly, but it's nice to give it a bit of extra colour, and you can stick a wash on it as well. The Stirland Mud is something I'd use to gum up my tank tracks rather than as a basing material, but apply it around something you're putting onto a base, so whether that's bits of rubble or ruins or tank tracks or vehicle parts. This looks great and it applies really quickly and easily. You can clean the base rims without having to paint them, just do it when it's wet, just give them a wipe like that, and that is your basing done. Really good, quite expensive and you won't get lots out of a pot, but not bad for a quick job.
These next few products are things I myself have come up with or found scouring the internet. Actually, one of them I feel like I haven't seen before.
The three products you're looking at are ash from the fire, some cement rubble from the floor. Really nice, comes in various grains and sizes, obviously because some bits of cement are bigger and they won't break down, but nice if you're basing something like a board or your models as well. This one is really fine, it's almost like a pigment actually. It's great to apply dry or wet to something to give that muddy look. And the final one is sand and ivory tile grout. This is really fine and will get everywhere, so do be aware of where you're using it. To apply these to the bases, I'm using some of the Geek Gaming fast drying basing glue. It's essentially PVA, but a bit tackier. Stick this all over your bases. You can do this with a paintbrush if you wish, or just use it straight from the nib of the glue like I'm using here. This is available from links down below if you want to buy it. It's a great product and I would highly recommend this for basing stuff. All of these apply the same way. You just stick the glue on and then you drop this on. Now this stuff is really fine, so you can get quite nice textures with this. I used it on a board build recently for a kill team board, and you just drop it over into the thickness you want. Some bits are a bit lumpier if you want to sieve those out or not, but it's a very, very pale colour. You can add more normal sand in or a brown grout. You buy this grout from your shops like B&Q or any hardware store. It's about, I think about £10, and it will set really, really hard because when you wet the tile grout, it goes like cement. This is actually cement here, and this is just from the floor of the garage. A little broken bit I found. I chipped away at it, and I got all types of sizes and bits, so this is great for basing boards, and obviously it's free. So apply it the same way, just drop it on, easy, done. You can imagine doing loads of bases like that very, very quickly. And it looks quite realistic and doesn't need a lot of work. If you are happy with the color of it, obviously you could paint and spray this as well, but that will set very hard. Give it a spray of some PVA over the top. This is the best one I found, and this is ash from the fire. So just what's left from when you burnt your fire. I've got a bucket load outside, and you just drop it on. It's very grey in colour, but actually when it's wet, it goes a little bit more brown. And these are those with some tufts on after they've dried a little bit. I'll talk about the tufts a little later on, but I love that fire ash.
Cork is another huge product that everyone kind of uses. Personally, I don't love it, but that's just kind of personal taste. I can see why everyone does it. It's a really easy and cheap material to use. I ordered 6 rolls of this, I think, 3mm cork from Amazon. Check out the link below. It was like, was it even a tenner? Can't quite remember. Super cheap.
Here we're looking at 3mm cork. I ordered this online. It's very bendy, easy to break, and just pulls apart. You can order this in various thicknesses as well, or you could double stack this up if you want it to be thicker. Set it out on the base how you like it. I see this used on lava bases quite a lot because it has that broken ground effect. You could break one piece off, break a second part and make a little funnel down the middle, and then drop in some clear resin or paint it if you like and spray it up to give it that nice glow effect like lava has. That's probably the most common thing I see cork used on, but it does still make nice broken city boards and broken ruin boards. Apply it using some superglue. Any superglue will do. This is available from the links down below as well. A couple of dots of that on, stick it down. It will need more work afterwards to make this look a little bit better. Depending on what ground cover you're going to use or what color you're looking for, you don't necessarily need to do a lot. It doesn't really require any sealing afterwards, although I would always spray it black or grey, just depending on what you want to do with it. I'm going to actually use the ash from the fire, so I spray this black and then just glue some ash from the fire all over it and in between, and that's how it looks.
I've seen this quite a lot around, and I've worked with it myself on a board build with Luke from Luke's APS or Geek Gaming now. We did a board using wallpaper. This is a really good thing because it looks like cobblestones. It's the right scale as well, and it's super easy to use. It's textured already. So I just got a bit of this free, I think, from B&Q. Just asked for a free roll, a sample, and there's more than enough there to do as many bases as you like.
This is the Belgrava Seriano wallpaper. I got this as a free strip, but you can buy it from a link below for about £20. It's awesome. You get it in different colours, but this is just the best one to work with. Use this on a board build. I did that with Luke's APS. Check out his video up the top as well if you want to see how he did a bigger version of this. Super simple to use. Just cut it out to whatever size or shape you want. Glue it down. You can use super glue. I'm using some of that fast drying PVA glue here again. Get it all over the base, stick it on top and cut around it. To make the colour you like from this, I would spray it black, dry brush it grey, stick some green washes in there, anything realistic. This works really well for that Mordheim or that fantasy feel. I will use this soon on a board build myself, making some sort of Mordheim board. I just think it's perfect. So much better than sitting and moulding out and trying to mould bits of cobble or put them onto foam board. It's so much effort, and this just has a texture already in it. So spray it black, dry brush it, stick some pigment down on it so you can use that fire ash as well earlier to give it that muddier look, and that's it. Super simple.
I've also been using the Geek Gaming basing products. Check out his website, there's a link down below where I get an affiliate link for Luke.
I've got a small selection of some of the products you can get through this site. They're really nice. All of them are combined things together. So there's fine bits of grass in there, there's some bigger rocks, there's some fine grit and some sand, all in scale and really good for your wargaming. Cheap at like £3.75 to £5.75 a bag. I've used some of this on board builds and not even got through a bag of it. I think we did a big grass board build and took a couple of pots. That's it. This is great. You just drop it on, stick the PVA down first, and it'll stick. That's it. Give it a shake, tap, done, and it'll set pretty quickly as well. You don't need to touch the base rims. Nice color on there, and there's so many different types of this you can use. This is just the one I picked up randomly. Now I'm going to show you the desert sand and stone. Same thing really. Slightly bigger chunks because I'm just dropping it straight out of the top, but if you sieved it out a bit more, you'd have to find a bit of sand in there too. And that's a nice sandy base done. There's not really a lot more you need to do to these. You don't need to paint them in any particular fashion. You can just leave them as they are. But they're so cheap and the quality and the volume of stuff you get is great. This one I used some 2mm static grass on top of that arid earth one. Looks really nice. And then a Mars basing material straight out the bag.
Then there is Das Clay. Not something I've used a lot, but this is just a mold sort of air dry putty.
Coming in at around £6 or £7 a kilo, it's pretty good value. It does require quite a lot of work and isn't something I'd recommend to a new basing person. But you just rip it off, stick it down and texture it using textured rollers or using tinfoil or the back ends of paintbrushes.
Some other materials are resin cast or 3D printed bases. These are great because you can get lots of detail in there without doing any work.
These are resin molded bases I bought online somewhere. Not the cheapest, they can come in at around £10 for a pack of 10. You can get them with all types of coverings on the top. I've just painted these myself using my airbrush, and this is some wooden ones. But you can get loads, you can get slate ones as well, or you could use real slate. This is slate from a gardening pack outside. I think I nicked it from my mum's garden years ago. A massive bag of it. It's pretty good, it's quite weighty. There's not a lot you can do to it. You can paint these as well, or you can just leave them as they are. An easy material, super glue them down and drop some rubble around it.
Now I'm looking at extra bits to make my bases really pop. And one of the best things I've found is grass tufts. You can also use static grass, whether that's 2mm to 10mm, but if you don't have a grass applicator, you're gonna have to blow on it and do things like that, so it's a little bit more difficult to use. But tufts are great.
Grass tufts. These things are awesome. You can get static grass, which you can apply yourself. You generally would use a static grass applicator, or you have to blow the grass so it goes upwards rather than sideways because it just looks a bit odd. But these are so cheap, coming in at about £4 for a pack of 100 from the Geek Gaming store. You just drop some of the PVA glue, you can use super glue as well if you like, and just stick this onto the bases. I think this is one of the best ways and the easiest ways to make your bases stand out and look a little bit better. Try to match the colour of the grass to whatever it is you're doing, or use it as a contrasting colour to the miniature. Wipe the side clear, done. That's what they look like on the two bases we did earlier.
There's also flowers, you can buy poppies, you can buy all kinds of stuff, all various different coloured tufts as well to decorate your bases however you wish to decorate.
Similar to the tufts, you can get other types of flower or flora for the floors as well.
Well, there you have it. That is the basing video. Kind of all the basic materials you might want to use or find around the house. If you're strapped for cash, some of those are completely free. My favourite that I've probably found as a free one is ash from the fire. Wet it, it's a different colour. Dry it, it's a different colour. It's so fine as well. It's definitely in scale. Can be used to use on terrain, can be used on bases. I haven't found really a finer pigment-based basing material than that. That being said, it is only really a mono kind of colour, browny grey. If you want to base your models quickly, efficiently, differently, and all for only a couple of pounds, I would highly recommend using the Geek Gaming basing materials. I know it sounds like a sales post, it really isn't. They're just good. I mean, I based all my dudes, I did a whole Mars board, just so easy. PVA dunk done. If you're a fan of Cork, go for it. It's cheap, it's easy, it's all down there in the links below, all the different materials you like. Whatever you like the look of, give it a go. That's all I can say is try things out, see what you want, but if you're doing a whole army, don't get too hung up on trying to make everything really individual, particularly if you're relatively new to the game. Just get them all based nicely, quickly, easily, and for as little cost as you can. I mean, the Games Workshop stuff is great, but it's expensive. A pot of that will set you back a few quid, and it won't get you all of your models done. It takes time to use, to paste. You might ruin a paintbrush in the process. Things for me, like PVA, dipping and dunking, is probably the way forward to do an army quickly. To work on diorama-style bases, I would use resin and different terrains and different products. I'd probably use milliputs. You can buy other various bits and bobs off the internet as well. It's more expensive, it's quite fun to do, and I would like to do probably another basing video showing you some of the advanced techniques I picked up from around the internet and from doing hobby for so many years. But that's it, I'll leave it there. If you've liked this video, please do remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the alarm bell for more videos to come. Check out below for all the different links to most of these products I can find for you. Some are Amazon, some are through Geek Gaming, some are through Element Games. They all help support the channel. And finally, there's my Patreon. This here has a Discord group with it as well, so you get into a private Discord group. You can ask me anything you want about the channel, about some of the videos, about some of the products I've used. There's Luke from Geek Gaming in there as well. You can ask some questions to him. Just a really good way to all sort of get together as hobbyists and talk about different ways to do things. So that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in another one. Take care.